Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning. I will basically talk about the statement made by our Foreign Affairs Minister, Honourable Justin Tkatchenko, on Papua New Guinea commitment to support Ukraine. He made this statement at the United Nations General Assembly meeting with the Foreign Affairs Minister of Ukraine. That was the time when you see all the international representatives, they come together to talk about international issues that concerns the global community. And he made his stance that it's Papua New Guinea commitment towards a peace, global peace. That's the foundation of his statement. However, the issue of Russia-Ukraine war is very complex in itself. And the minister is making a statement directly committing Papua New Guinea to support Ukraine to end Russia war aggression against Ukraine. And I personally want to make my comment about the minister committing Papua New Guinea to support Ukraine at the international arena. I totally go against that. But before I take you all through the basis of why I disagree with him, I want to disclose my interest. I am an ordinary Papua New Guinean, a concerned citizen, and I base on my constitutional rights to express myself on any decision that a government made that will affect our country. Okay, that's my interest in making a response to the statement of the Foreign Affairs Minister. And I will also quote the statement. I will take out the relevant quotes of what the minister said, and that's for your benefits as we go through my argument on his decision. Firstly, let me take you through the first basis, and that's Papua New Guinea's foreign policy. Our foreign policy is friend to all, enemy to none. That has been the policy of the independent state of Papua New Guinea. We don't want to, our forefathers came up with this policy which becomes the foundation of our Papua New Guinea in the international community, in all our relations, trade or diplomatic ties. This has always been our foundation, and that policy maintains the integrity of Papua New Guinea in the international community. What the minister said is that, to me, I see that he breached that policy. We don't know the basis of war between Russia and Ukraine. What really caused this? And it's not an ordinary conflict. It's a war between two countries, and two countries, they are at the war front. And Papua New Guinea, we shouldn't take sides. Instead, we should say, the minister should say, our foreign policy is friend to all, enemy to none. And that's supposed to be the foundation of the the Papua New Guinea government. And ministers would say, we all pray that, or we all wish for peace between the two countries. We have to take the neutral ground to say that, yes, we support both of you to have peace, not to fight. But what he said is to support Ukraine to end Russian aggression. And I wonder whether the minister is fully aware of the protocols when we engage with international talks. There are protocols, there are laws, there are regulations, there are norms that we need to take into consideration when we talk about critical international issues. And domestically, our foreign policy of friend to all, enemies to none, enemy to none has been breached by the minister. Secondly, is the breach of international customary law. International customary law, it has always been a custom for the international community that one country must not interfere with the affairs of other countries. That's the international law. The different countries have their different sovereignty and jurisdiction. And Papua New Guinea, we are a different sovereign nation. Whatever the conflict is there between the two countries, Papua New Guinea should know better that we must not interfere. Rather, we should make a general statement calling for peace as the basis for Papua New Guinea's commitment to the global peace. And what the minister said to support is completely wrong. And I will mention what he said. That's what he said to the Foreign Affairs Minister for Ukraine. We will stand by, and hopefully we see some positive results of mind changing. What kind of mind changing? Want to change your mind to go and join the fight? Or mind changing of who? For the part of the Russia? Or that phrase that he uttered is not good. And then he went on to say, for us, wherever we can help in the Pacific, as we are talking to our member of the Pacific Island Forum and Melanesian Spirit Group, we can help wherever we can help. And he mentioned Pacific Island Forum or Melanesian Spirit Group. I wonder whether he got approval or whether there's a resolution from the Pacific Island Group Forum or Melanesian Spirit Group that gave him it's a resolution that he stand on to talk. It's another political blender or diplomatic blender. And then he went on to say, I'm here just to support you as foreign minister and give assurance of our government support wherever we can assist. He said wherever we can assist, and he gave assurance that he wants to support Ukraine. The statement that he made is not good. And as I said, it breached the foreign policy, our friend to all, enemy to none, and also it breached the international customary law. It's for non-interference. And as you all know, Papua New Guinea is not part of NATO, Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO comprised of countries like Italy, France, Lithuania, Poland, and other European countries. And with France and them, there's countries from the West, you know. And USA has its own interest in the economic interest in the region all around the globe, and it's been pushing for it. It's behind Ukraine to end this Russian aggression. And we don't know whether it's there for good reason or bad reason, we don't know. But the conflict between Russia and NATO is that Russia doesn't want NATO to have influence through to its territory, the former Soviet countries. When the collapse of Soviet Union, you see a lot of countries, they have their own independence, but they normally say same people in one country, huh? Even though they have like 15 members of Soviet Union. Those countries, they doesn't want NATO to step in. And you all know, yes, of course, it's a comprised of those superpowers, huh? Or the powerful countries from the West. So it doesn't want them to them to come close to Russia. So it's more or less like Russia have attitude of protectionism. It protects its former Soviet Union states. So Ukraine, NATO want to have base with Ukraine in the region. They have a relation with Ukraine, but Russia doesn't want it. So, so that has been the conflict in the region and the attitude of Russia. And I don't know whether the minister understands that. As I said, it's very complex. And the interest of Russia, we don't know, or interest of Ukraine, with Papua New Guinea, we don't know. So we shouldn't be interfering with the affairs of another foreign country or different sovereign nation. And the minister also mentioned about Melanesian Spared Group or Pacific Island Forum. I wonder whether they passed a resolution and he stood on that and as his basis to speak out to support. Because Papua New Guinea is the biggest sister country of all other Pacific Island nations. And when he said that at the United Nations General Assembly, meeting with the Foreign Affairs Minister, when he said that, he mentioned the Pacific Island Forum, Pacific Island Melanesian Spared Group. He should understand whether the Pacific Island nation countries passed a resolution to support Ukraine. He shouldn't mention the other Pacific Island countries or Melanesian Spared Group. So they know that if they make any statement to interfere with to support Ukraine against Russia, it's a direct violation of international customary law. It's a direct violation of international customary law on non-interference with the affairs of other nations. That's completely wrong. And it's a breach of international diplomacy. And the minister failed terribly. So another point that I disagree with the minister is that he's risking the country, Papua New Guinea, is unnecessarily committing Papua New Guinea to this war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine. It's unnecessarily committing Papua New Guinea, thus putting the country at risk, the people, the peace that we enjoy in the Pacific, and the freedom that we have. You know, you don't want to see when, you know, that came about during a United Nations General Assembly meeting. And if Russia sees that what he said is Papua New Guinea is joining hands with, so we continue to have a network problem. I don't know why. So it's risking the nation. That's one of the grounds, the people, the peace that we enjoy, and the freedom that we have. The minister is unnecessarily committing the country. And the other ground which I disagree with the minister is that he's risking the trade link that PNG has with Russia, both Russia and Ukraine. We used to export or import petroleum products from Russia until 2012, when PNG LNG came into play with US involvement in our gas project. The import from Russia drastically dropped in 2012, but we still continue to, in a smaller scale, we have trade links with Russia, and so as Ukraine. Ukraine, they normally say it's the food bank of Europe, food basket of Europe. So we trade agricultural produce with Ukraine. But we have, when taking such sides, we are also risking the good trade links that we have, relationship that we have with Russia. So I'd rather say the minister is not is not following the protocols, and these are the grounds that I strongly disagree with the minister. And ministers should consider the history of those European countries and understands the international politics. And, you know, as the students of the political science at the UPNG, and given the studies that we went through all the European countries, East, West, I see that minister failed to fully understand the situation there and the protocols involved in any such diplomatic talks or any, you know, any meetings with other countries. So the minister has completely failed his duty to protect the country's interest and the policy of Papua New Guinea. So it's completely an international political blunder by the minister, Honourable Justin Tkatchenko. At one stage, I can remember he said Papua New Guinea as when he was asked about something about his daughter or something, and he said he forgot that there was the minister, foreign affairs minister, and he said primitive animals to our fellow Papua New Guineans. But as the minister, is a statement to all of us that there's another political blunder. He failed to understand his duties and responsibilities as the minister, so to protect the state and the people. And now we went on to receive the nation and breach all those protocols. And I want to call upon the Prime Minister to immediately sack the Minister for Foreign Affairs for all this wrong or the international political blunder that he engaged in. Is unnecessarily committing Papua New Guinea, risking everything. So Papua New Guinea should remain neutral. So Prime Minister must remove him from this ministerial portfolio. If the foreign Prime Minister failed to do that, that goes to say that Prime Minister is supporting this minister. I don't want to describe him, but I don't want to be emotional in saying something, but just for the purpose of this country, I'm really concerned about the minister's decision to continue to disgrace Papua New Guinea. He must voluntarily step down, or Prime Minister must remove him. That's my opinion. Yeah, okay. Any comment? Benji, good morning. Alright, Jamra, thank you for your comment. Yes, NATO also powers countries, and we are not in their league. Yes, right. NATO, let me talk a bit about NATO. NATO is a military organization by 32 countries, the names I've mentioned earlier, comprised of superpowers, that any state against another country, members of those NATO, then it against their entire NATO member states. That's their military alliance. So Russia attacking Ukraine, and Russia is prepared to attack NATO if they want to come face him. And look at Papua New Guinea minister, for goodness sake. You're trying to join NATO? Do you know what the NATO is comprised of and the basis of their formation? It's a military alliance, for goodness sake. Na minister la go join him all one something. La karim defense blo Papua New Guinea go fight. One blo botenga imigatem la karim go fight. You may train lo go fight lo dis la kain hapo. You see more botenga na all dis la kain something. Minister is not understanding what the NATO is and their motives there and their engagement there. It's making a statement to support Ukraine in line with NATO. For goodness sake, Papua New Guinea is not part of NATO. Papua New Guinea, where are we heading? Prime Minister must take control of his ministers. I was a once former governor, and I see that Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, he has good vision, but he needs people to drive his vision. And his failure is that he's not taking control of his ministers. Minister only walk lo like blow, round lo like blow, talk lo like blow, lo sem now Justin Tkatchenko. If you want to run a country, take control of its ministers, because the wheels of your government is the departments. Departments are the wheels of this government to move the government forward, and ministers are taking control of its departments. And if the Prime Minister failed to take control of his ministers, all get the tire but flat, not loose, not go, not bomb country, not about lo narpa. It's like a vehicle. So, Prime Minister should take control of all the ministers. That is great failure in this country. And I rightfully put it that way. He has a good vision, but his ministers are failing him. And now let's watch and see whether the Prime Minister is going to deal with the Foreign Affairs Minister for all the reasons that I gave, or is he going to allow him to stay and continue to disgrace Papua New Guinea and lead Papua New Guinea to wrong directions? The decision of the Prime Minister to deal with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, which is a big issue now, this will determine whether the Prime Minister is concerned about Papua New Guinea or not. Papua New Guinea got plenty of problem. We have law and order problem, increase in unemployment rate, price of goods and services are going up, inflation. We have so many socio-economic problems in the country. Kina begins to devalue continuously. Instead of fixing those problems, you're committing Papua New Guinea to support a war in Ukraine. You may not involve too much big blood trade law upside down. You're committing Papua New Guinea law or something. Law money law supporting more. You'll pray you talk maybe pray lo peace lo herial upside. But when you say support, it's a big word, it's a bold statement. Are you going to give money to Ukraine? You supply weapons to Ukraine? Or you're going to send the soldiers to Ukraine to engage in this, to stop Russian aggression against Ukraine? We have a lot of problem, in-house problem there. Please, common sense must come up, you mean now. Look, this is a problem now. I'm not going to unnecessarily committing Papua New Guinea or something where you may not got capacity. I'm really frustrated, and again, I totally disagree with the minister for that's international political blunder, and he should resign or Prime Minister must sack him immediately. With that, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining me, and may God bless you all.